Hi everybody. Today we're going to talk about Pushya Nakshatra. Pushya Nakshatra starts at 3 degrees and 20 minutes and goes until 16 degrees and 40 minutes in the Cancer zodiac sign. For this nakshatra, the ruling planet is Shani, or Saturn. And the ruling deity of this nakshatra is Brihaspati, the guru of the Devas. Brihaspati is also linked with the planet Jupiter itself. The symbol for this nakshatra is the cow's udder. The translation of Pushya is a lotus flower. This is a male nakshatra. Its guna is tamasic. Its nature is light or swift. The element is water. The caste is kshetriya. And the yoni, or the animal, is a male sheep. So this nakshatra is one of those nakshatras that has two sides to it. First of all, I want to point out that it is a very auspicious nakshatra. This nakshatra used to be named Tritiya or Tishya in the Vedas. And Tishya itself means lucky or auspicious. And this nakshatra brings a lot of luck. It is like a sealant for the native, and it can be giving you luck throughout all of your birth chart. Sometimes there may be issues with the house that this nakshatra is in, but all the other houses will probably get Jupiter's grace on it, Brihaspati's grace. Pushya is a really balanced nakshatra. And when I say balanced, I mean that not only is it stable, but it's balanced in sometimes as much luck as it brings. It can also bring some things that you have to work for or that are considered unlucky. Sometimes people with this nakshatra work without any sense or purpose, and they don't meet it with success. Usually, they're always away from the place that they grew up in. People with this nakshatra get a lot of pleasure from traveling. This nakshatra, it doesn't give much parental property. It also makes you devoid of domestic happiness. Most of these natives, they can be really like the life of the party, so to speak. They love to be around happy people and people who have a really good sense of humor. They can bring a lot of knowledge to the table, and they usually have really good advice. And they're kind of like a lucky charm for everybody that they come into contact with. these people usually have really high standards and they dress really well. With Pushya Nakshatra, I want to get into a lot of how the energy works with this nakshatra. So I have a case study also that I'm going to use, but to begin with this, about this nakshatra, I'm going to bring up the past so that we can have a better understanding of how this nakshatra can be lucky and how it can make the native work and dig within themselves to bring out more luck, hopefully, or to deal with it. So Brihaspati, as I stated at the beginning, is the ruler of this nakshatra. It's the deity of this nakshatra. But a little bit about Brihaspati is that he had a wife, Tara, and Brihaspati was gone a lot. He was the guru of the gods. He was, people always need the guru, and so he wasn't home, and he had a really firm way. Things were really orderly, and he just wasn't there a lot. And one day, Chandra, or the moon, was with Tara, and Tara went from this world of just rules, and was in a way swept off her feet by Chandra's charming, poetic, and handsome looks. I mean, it was like feeling like you're absent of getting cherished and loved because your husband's gone all the time, and then you get swept off your feet by somebody who's handsome and poetic. It was kind of like Tara was on a magic carpet ride, so to speak, with Chandra, the moon. So after Brihaspati, came to figure this out, because Tara ended up getting pregnant with Chandra's child and had the planet Buddha, or Mercury. And this was just unacceptable to Brihaspati. And so there was a big, huge fight, and Chandra used to be luminous, almost as bright as the sun. And Jupiter was so powerful and took all of Chandra's luminosity away. Well, most of it. And so Chandra was so dim. And so Chandra had prayed to Shiva, and Shiva, gave him back most of his luster. And that's why we have this beautiful moon that we see every day. So the energy of this nakshatra is one that is really capable of helping, being, like an advisor and a good luck charm for everybody that wasn't sitting inside the house that Brihaspati was in. And another situation that happened with this nakshatra is that Ram and Sita were married in this nakshatra. And I know it's not, like, I think the Viva celebration every year to celebrate the marriage anniversary of Ram and Sita, I mean, it falls on a different day, but like this was the nakshatra that they actually got married in from when they got married. And even though a lot of people, they don't know, like, maybe they don't know all the story behind Pushya Nakshatra, but people do not get married in Pushya. Everything else, people, do a lot of other activities in this nakshatra, but marriage is not one of them. And even with the qualities that I've already discussed about this nakshatra, it all goes back to the energy and the past of this nakshatra and the power. So Guru is always going to be, Brihaspati is always going to be giving and bestowing luck and fortune upon everything around him. But sometimes the house that he's sitting in gets more neglected than the ones around him. And I have a case study, and although this does not apply to anything except having a Capricorn or Makara ascendant and having Jupiter in the 7th house in this nakshatra being exalted. My near and dear one, she had a fiance, and she was so devoted and kind, and if he would have said jump, she would have said how high. I mean, she tried everything to appease her fiance, and when that didn't work, years later, she tried to even be like detached and change her personality. She thought, maybe if I'm not so devoted, then maybe this will work. And that didn't work either. She literally tried everything. And, I'm just trying to show the effects of this nakshatra and what can happen with this case study. Now, this is not going to happen, probably not going to happen in any other house, except maybe it might happen if you've got Jupiter in your 4th house in this nakshatra. Then perhaps a similar situation might happen. And even if you have the moon in this nakshatra in the 7th or 4th house, you might have a little bit of this happening in your life as well. But the reason for this case study is not to divert everyone's attention and start going into other signs and everything. No, this is mainly, when I'm talking about these natives, I'm talking about the moon being in this nakshatra. But I did want to just expand on this situation and how this nakshatra can behave, especially when it's sitting with itself and exalted. This nakshatra, the natives have a lot of difficulty when it comes to domestic life with this nakshatra. And that might be in all the places that it sits. And that's difficult because, unless you're a monk or you've taken a vow of celibacy, then everybody wants to share their life with somebody. I And when you have this going on in your chart, and I mean, you have to be able to find ways to fix it. And I know that appeasing Hanuman can help any effects or defects on a birth chart. Appeasing Ganapataye can help ill effects on a birth chart. And for this particular nakshatra, even going directly to Shani or going directly to Brihaspati. And you could even go as far as using one of the Das Mahavidyas that is a symbol for Brihaspati or Jupiter, which is Tara. And when I say Tara about the Das Mahavidyas, I'm talking about a different goddess than the one who was married to Brihaspati. And this nakshatra has a lot to do with the energy of nurturing. And the story behind Tara, one of the Das Mahavidyas, Shiva, when they did the churning of the ocean, Shiva was assigned to drink the poison that came up. And when he was drinking it, the poison started to turn him blue, and it was having an effect on him. And it was getting stuck in his throat. And you know who came and fixed the situation? Tara, the Das Mahavidya. And that's why her color is blue, because she nurtured the situation and got it under control. So, I mean, all the symbols within this nakshatra, I mean, it's like a circle of nurturing and good luck and overcoming domestic life issues. This nakshatra's symbol is the lotus flower, and the lotus flower comes from deep, deep in the mud and becomes a beautiful flower that never touches the water. The petals never touch the water. In this nakshatra, if we can dig deep and we can get down to the roots of it and make it become a beautiful flower, then maybe the domestic life can turn lucky. These natives, they're usually hardworking, they're generous to other people, they like spiritual activities, they're usually selfless, good advisors, tolerant of pain, learned. Usually the males with this nakshatra, they can appear emotionally weak. And I mean, this is it could be a hard position for males to be in. Sometimes the males with this nakshatra, they get selfish. And these are the types of people that will be like really well behaved when they're trying to get something that they want. Sometimes they also they expect respect from the people around them, but they're not grateful to the ones who even help them or, have their back. Now, the females on this nakshatra, on the other hand, they're likely not to have a peaceful life. They're calm, charming, and they want to nurture. They really bring out the light of this nakshatra. I think women do really well in this nakshatra as opposed to the men. No offense. But I think that this is a more, this nakshatra sits better with women. But even though the women in this nakshatra, they're really nurturing and they have a charming and calm nature, they're respectful, but they get disrespected. They get insulted and they get ill treatment in return. And these women are like really religious and following the rituals and traditions. A lot of times with this nakshatra, sometimes these people want to try to mold everybody into the perfect person. And that's sometimes not possible. It's a good thing to want to make everybody be good and better, but sometimes people don't want to be molded. They want to be, the way that they are. They don't want to be schooled or be perfect or even be good sometimes. I think that it kind of goes both ways. It's good to want to nurture people and make them become better, but at the same time, it's not really your job unless they ask you. So you don't have to feel bad for not nurturing, If somebody needs to get nurtured and they need you to take your step as the guru that you are, then let them come to you and ask. If they don't, then don't waste your time. Eventually, one day, everybody's going to want to be good. Maybe not today, and maybe not tomorrow. But someday, everybody will want to be good. Rather than always being the guru or always wanting to be the advisor, just maybe try to find something that you appreciate in other people. And if you can't find anything to appreciate, then find new people. And if you still can't find anything to appreciate, then, it's just, you'll have to just wait till somebody's comes that's worth appreciating. But you don't have to advise unless they ask you. I think that would make, it might make things easier. And if you end up just waiting for, somebody good or or whatever, then no problem. You can just, do your rituals and do what you like to do, and then as soon as somebody comes along, then they'll come along, and you can try to see if that domestic life can have some lucky charms in it rather than being unlucky. And I mean, I think that, a lot of times being like an advisor and a guru, don't be afraid to have your own emotions as well. You're so used to always wanting things to be perfect that, sometimes embrace the not being perfect, and then, you can figure out ways to become better for yourself too. And you can be your own guru. And these natives really are practical, and that's a really good quality. You have a good sense of understanding, and you're empathetic. And for sure, there's going to be people who are going to, maybe not today, but they're going to want your advice someday. So now we will get into the compatibility for Pushya. Oh, another name for this nakshatra, oh, I already said that, is Tishya. And Tishya means auspicious. So the compatibility is going to be, of course, really well with Shani nakshatras. So that's other Pushyas, Anuradha, Uttarabhadrapada. It's going to be with Shukra or Venus, so that's Baharani, Purva Falguni, Purva Ashada. It's going to go really well with nakshatras of Buddha, and that is Ashlesha, Jeshla, Revati. It's going to go neutral with Brahaspati nakshatras, which is really weird. You're neutral with yourself. So that means Purnavasu, Vishaka, Purvabhadrapada. And you're going to go a little uneasy with nakshatras of Chandra, and that's Rohini, Shravana, and Hasta. And you're going to go uneasy with Mongol, so that's Chitra, Danishta, and Mrigashira. And you're going to go uneasy with Rahu and Ketu nakshatras, so that's Arudra, Swati, Shatabishta, Magha, Mula, and Ashwini. And things get challenging with nakshatras of Surya, so that's Uttarashada, Uttar Falguni, and Kritika. So folks, thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have a great night.